Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back for another Fallout 4 mod bundle. As you can see, today we're turning Fallout 4 into a spaghetti western. Now, obviously not perfectly as it is still Fallout, so rather, what if Fallout was a spaghetti western? So that's what we're going to be achieving today, grabbing as many mods as we can to convert this game into a western style in the desert with single action revolvers and lever actions, and we're just going to have some fun with it. Now, I'm actually going to be featuring a lot more mods than I typically do because I really want to give you the most options for modding your game. So we're kind of going to rush through the mods quickly. I won't be doing as much explaining as to what they do, but rather just giving you the recommendations so you know what to be looking for. So we're going to go ahead and jump in with the first and probably the most important mod, which is the Desperados Overhaul by Spiffyskytrooper. Now, this is going to convert your wasteland into a desert. So you're just going to kind of have to forget that you're in Boston and just pretend that you're back in New Vegas with all of the wonderful desert aesthetics, completely redoing everything to be sand and cactuses with appropriate plants, removing most of the trees in the game, and keeping your pre-combines intact. This is a wonderfully done overhaul that converts the wasteland into a desert, and funny enough, I think I actually get a performance boost when using this mod because I lose so many trees and god rays because of it. Running this with NAC is a really nice pairing and makes for a very good desert vibe. Of all of the overhauls to the environment in Fallout 4, this is definitely one of the most jarring, but in a good way. It really gives you a new experience so you're not playing the same old game over and over again, which is kind of what this bundle is all about, giving you something totally new and totally different. So Desperados Overhaul is definitely going to be your one-stop shop for all of your desert needs, and it's probably, again, like I said, one of the most important parts of this build, so definitely going to want to grab that one. It's also available on Xbox as well as PC, which is great, and most of these mods are actually available on Xbox, so keep that in mind when you're downloading. Now, the one area that Desperados Overhaul doesn't cover is the buildings. Now, when it comes to buildings, we're not going to be changing out any of the pre-existing buildings, but we can do things to the settlement items. Now, when it comes to building a saloon-style building, you can pretty much do that already in the base game, but you're going to have way more options with the mod Nuka World Shopper's Paradise by ryanfss. Now, this mod actually adds quite a few items to suit the Nuka World style. However, there is a section devoted to Western buildings as well as decorations, which is perfect for what we're trying to do today. So now you'll have a bunch of different types of saloon as well as other Western town buildings that you can scatter around, and they actually snap together, which is a really nice touch, along with a bunch of decorations for inside of these buildings. And they're all themed as well, with different unique vendors, as well as decorations for bars, stores, houses, etc. This is really all you'd ever need for building in the Western style. But we may as well offer some variety in the desert environment and use the mod Adobe House Kit by Tookie Jones. This is going to add a whole new building set where you can make Adobe houses, also in different colors, which really helps to sell the desert vibe. Depending on which area of the desert you're in as well, this may make total sense, so you're just going to kind of have to play with your own headcanon. But an area like New Mexico or even regular Mexico, this makes total sense. Using the environment around them, Wastelanders would totally be building houses like this, just like we did back before we had the technology to build modern houses that we're used to. I think this building set is a perfect fit for the Western style load order. Really helps to cement the universe that you've created, that this really is a Western wasteland rather than the Boston Commonwealth. Now, before we finish up with environment mods, I suppose we should talk about filling out this land with desert-type creatures, and these may not appear in real life, but if this is a Fallout-style spaghetti western, then we might as well include Mojave Geckos as well as Mojave Mantises by TheFriedturkey and HcGxGrill. These are going to add the New Vegas creatures, both the Geckos and the Mantises, into the game, both beautifully recreated in Fallout 4's engine. And these are things that would exist in a desert, so why not have them here in your Western style? Now, if you're just trying to make your game into a Western without the Fallout, that's going to be awfully difficult, so you might as well preserve some of the Fallout lore in the desert environment. Keep these guys in there just to spice up your world and have some creatures that fit the environment that you're creating. In case you guys haven't played with either of these mods before, it's going to add Geckos and Mantises, respectively, into your game, into the leveled list, spawning out in the world, so you'll find these guys pretty often, which is nice. Alright, now that you've got your Western world pretty settled, we're going to need some weapons to shoot things in said Western world. And we're going to start with probably the most obvious mod that you saw coming from a mile away, the Cowboy Repeater by lucasncolombo. This is going to add the classic Cowboy Repeater from Fallout New Vegas into Fallout 4, complete with custom animations and a beautiful model and texture. Something we've been wanting ever since the lever action was reintroduced in Far Harbor, a proper Cowboy Repeater, which is just perfect in this mod. It really does it perfectly. But we're not going to stop there. We need more lever actions. So we're also going to be using the Winchester Pack by robbythekidd, which is going to add 4 new lever action rifles, all Winchesters, into the game, 2 of which will actually be uniques, one of which is the Onyx and the other is the Awe, a nice little New Vegas reference for your Western game. And these things will spawn in the level list, so you'll be able to run into repeaters out in the world to fight against you. The 2 main rifles in this mod are the Winchester Model 1894 and then the Winchester Model 1876, both of these weapons having the ability to be chambered into different caliber types, making this an excellent addition to any cowboy's arsenal. We're also going to need some revolvers, so we might as well throw in the Hunting Revolver and Ranger Sequoia by the Rizzler and Navaro, which is going to add the Hunting Revolver, also from New Vegas, as well as its Ranger Sequoia counterpart. Luckily, we already did have a revolver in the base game, but this is going to add a much heavier revolver, shooting some 45-70 rounds, so you can really decimate your opponents while keeping that classic cowboy style. But if you want even more revolvers, we're going to be using the Cavalry Revolver by Hallgarth, which is going to add yet another beautiful revolver into the game, which has a lot of customization. You can really tune this thing to exactly how you want it to look, with some ridiculously long barrels or some nice little snub nose, as well as scopes, attachments, and all the other stuff that you'd expect in a weapon mod for Fallout 4. And I suppose I should address the elephant in the room, which is the single action revolver, also from New Vegas. As I'm recording this, it is currently not available for download, so I am just going to mention it in case you do happen to have it in your load order. You can apply it to this same list and it will add yet another beautiful revolver for your cowboy western theme. But at this moment, I won't be able to provide links to it because it's not up anywhere, so hopefully we'll just have to wait and see if it makes a return. Now, one mod that I want to add into the weapons category isn't a weapon itself, but it's going to add some more utility to the revolvers that we've been using, and that is going to be Toggle Revolver Fanning Wild West Cowboy by Shavkacagarikia. Now, this mod's going to give you a very short little quest where you can head and pick up a new magazine, and it's also going to give you a nice little duster and hat. But once you've done all of that, it's going to give you the ability to fan the hammer on any revolver using vanilla animations, which is super nice. So if your revolver is using custom animations, it may not exactly work as you'd like, but if it's using vanilla animations, it will work with this mod because it has the appropriate keywords, and you'll be able to fan the hammer, and there's a few ways that you can choose to do this with a configuration menu. But the way that I prefer is when I aim down sights, it's single action, and when I'm hip firing, I'm fanning the hammer. Makes it feel like you're playing like a real cowboy, especially if you're going to be constraining yourself to using just revolvers. Now, the final mod in the weapons category is something I just kind of have to show you. And that's going to be the Wild West Vats sound effect by TheAlp. As you heard, this adds a new sound effect every time you open up Vats. Rather than the traditional noise, it will be the Western whistle that we are so used to in old school Western movies. And now we're going to move on to our last category. Since you have this world and you have these weapons, you're going to need some clothes to run around in and really feel like you're a true cowboy. First, we're going to start off with the Courier Duster by Darkman. This is going to add the duster from the antagonist of the Fallout New Vegas Lonesome Road DLC, along with a few accessories that make it feel like a real Western fit. I mean, what's more Western than a duster? Along with the duster, you also get some Under Armour as well as a nice hat to pair with it that suits the Western style very well. The next one is a little less Western, a little bit more Fallout, but it truly is a nice mix of both. We have Cross Mojave Manhunter by Niero. This is definitely a more futuristic take on the Western style, with a futuristic bounty hunter featuring a duster and hat. It's a really interesting combination. Sorta reminds me of Cad Bane from the Star Wars series, but on a piece of armor as opposed to an alien. Really nice piece of armor here though, definitely fits in the Fallout world, and I would love to see this in the New Vegas setting. And then, for our final mod of the video, I would be burned at the stake if I mentioned the topic of Western and Fallout and didn't add the NCR Veteran Ranger Armor by ToastyFresh. This is truly the best rendition that I have ever seen of the Veteran Ranger Armor. This doesn't exactly fit with the spaghetti Western thing, but this is Fallout after all. How can I not bring this up? This truly is a wonderful piece of armor, and it is absolutely beautiful. Definitely worth grabbing. It's available on PC as well as Xbox, so anybody can grab this thing. Definitely an excellent one. And with that, we finally bring this video to a close. This has definitely been a blast of a video to make, really fun to totally overhaul Fallout into something different. Now, I already have a list of future mod bundles ready to go with dozens and dozens of ideas. However, I do love to hear your guys' feedback, so if you have any total makeover or overhauls that you'd like to see in the future, let me know in the comments. I'd love to take a look. And with that, if you want to try any of these mods, they will be linked down below. Just about all of these are on PC as well as Xbox. The only one that is not on Xbox is actually the Vats sound replacer, but everything else is, so go hog wild, you Xbox users. And don't forget to go out there and support the mod authors. These are some really excellent mods, and it means the world if you can go out there and show your appreciation for all of their hard work. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a rating, subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this one, and I hope to see you next time. Peace. And really quick, I'd like to make a shout out to all of our patrons. Your donations are greatly appreciated and really help to support the channel and videos just like this one. So again, thank you.